missing. Now I see a little different. I was thinking too much. Got stuck in oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. I got all the time in the world, so for now I'm just chilling. Plus I know it's a beautiful feeling. In oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Oblivion, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, I ride around my city when I come home, yeah. The sunset quickly, then get up slow, yeah. I just connect and upload. Watch it spin around, we just spin it round, yeah. Let's go and travel through the unknown, yeah. We play it cool, we know we fucked up. People say up, we gon' burn it down, burn it down.
Good morning, good morning. Headset on. I added into another short at 228 as well. On this one account here. 228. I was short on the overnight at 180s, covered down here at 105, so 80 points short on that account. But I'm short overall. I haven't taken any long trades this morning, literally zero. And I'm probably short on, I would say, 40% of my accounts. But if I've got 9, I think I'm short 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever that is, like just less than half of my accounts I'm short on. Mainly just because I've hit profit targets on 3 of them from the overnight shorts. I also have some entries where they aren't the best. 195s. I'm also short on the Apex. I'm pretty much break even because I was up 200, so I am now flat, but I'm willing to give this room because if this goes, we've got some really nice room to the downside. And if it does go, well, I mean that'll hit the profit target for sure. So could have waited for the news to finish, but I didn't know sometimes the news just gives you the move. But this is kind of probably one of those fade the news type of moves if we get the move I'm wanting, obviously. So just to zoom out on the daily time frame. Anyone that's new, I think we had 2 new people join. I won't do the full breakdown because I've done it every single day this week, but go through the YouTube or go through the morning video channel and just go through yesterday's and also Tuesday's video, and you'll be able to fully understand what I'm going to refer to in a second. But essentially, in short, this is the resistance zone. I know you could be like, well, what's the resistance? But that's my resistance zone for now. We've traded the shorts all the way at the highs. If you want to know where these levels come from, again, just watch yesterday's and Tuesday's morning recap and it will be a complete understanding. But that is the resistance zone. I won't bore everyone with the breakdown of it already because we've already gone through it. We are still red on the BX. The BX is trending up now, but as we know, we can trend up and we can come back down. So I'm going to just still stay bearish until that goes green and also until we start breaking some extensions. Now, what would that look like? Just from a daily point of view, remember we traded the halfway back here, went 2 targets. All we're doing is bouncing at a 62 daily, which is normal, and it's also lines up with the monthly and the weekly ATR. So there's nothing crazy about this, but we have had a nice rebalance back into a potential short, which is the 38. The only slight caveat you have to give is we can technically come all the way back up to the 50. I pretty much got my stop at 323s at the moment, which is a break above weekly highs, which I wouldn't necessarily want to see. So I don't mind getting out at that point. I can always re-add if I want to, but I also don't want to be off. I don't want to be offside too long. just because this week's been a little bit tricky with having the right move, but you've just got bigger moves initially before the actual main move, which is you don't get all the time. I would argue you probably get it 10-15% of the time, and I would stand by those stats in my opinion. So yesterday's event, you know, show me many days where you get straight up, straight down. We planned it perfectly. I said once we had the move, I said this is just going to come straight back down, and you can go through yesterday's live stream to see that. I was just trying to work out the stats in real time to figure out the best shorts, and we ended up taking some shorts, and the live stream account pretty much got back from being $4.60 down to $49 up. So successful day, I would say, in terms of just staying out of that trouble initially. So I am short on the market at the moment, and the reason being is we are still inside this overall downtrend, and until they break, you know, until we start actually trending above and breaking above this 61, I will look for those shorts. Now the only thing I will say is it gets tricky when you are technically trending up on a smaller time frame, because you're kind of offside on the smaller movements, but on the overall bigger time frame, all you're doing is getting rebalances back into potential shorts. So you could do one of two things: wait for this move just to get severely overextended and wait for like a blow off top. I always think it's harder to do that because you never know exactly where the blow off top is going to be. So personally, I just take my stabs. I give myself enough risk, and I just let it work. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to be wrong probably at least 30 out of 100 times at least. That, I mean, if only 30, I would be very happy with, because that's a 70% win rate, right? Which is extremely, extremely good. Again, you can be profitable with a 50 to 50% win rate, right? If you make more than you risk, means you can still be wrong 50 times out of 100. Imagine calling out 50 trades live, or 100 trades live, sorry, and 50 of them fail, right? Most people would think that trader is terrible, right? But if they win $200 and they lose only 100 on the times they lose, they still win. Okay. Yeah, going into today, all I'm really looking for is just to see is do we come up to the, I mean, we're pretty much at it. So all I'm really risking is what would be the full negative 100 of the ATR bar here, which is, it will be 400s, but I think on the 5 minute it's like 360s. I thought it was 320s, but I don't really want to be risking too much above that. So I think the hourly high is at 320s, and my stop's at 324s, which is what the hourly high is. So again, willing to be wrong on a move. We are in true trend. We haven't had any green diamonds. We did have a triangle momentum inside a bearish true trend, so I don't really know how much I want to trust that. The 3 times ATR is somewhat irrelevant again because we've had news. So you could argue, yeah, but these moves do tend to hold, but we've had the news, so it isn't a true 3 times ATR. It's going to trade. Every single news candle is going to trade at least 2 or 3 times because of the release. So I'm not paying attention to that too much. All I am paying attention is we are inside true trend. So that really does need to at least stop and then break for this move to continue down. So if you don't want to short highs and you're a bit anxious, like you don't want to risk what I'm risking, completely fine. Sometimes you'll have a worse entry, but you might have better confirmation. So it's entirely up to you how you want to plan this trade. Again, just be aware that I'm risking 320s to potentially 340s, which is 110 points away. So if you can't risk 110 points, which is only $220 per 1 micro, just again reassess the risk. Use that, maybe my stop as an area to work, or avoid the trade if you just do not want to take it. Right? You don't have to take every single trade I take, and in fact, I'd probably recommend not to take every single trade I take, because you're not going to understand exactly why I'm taking every single trade. Right? As I always say to members, it makes sense if you're thinking a certain way, i.e. short or long, and then I'm also short or long. It kind of makes sense. Oh, okay, double confirmation. I like it. But you got to have some of your own, conviction in there as well, or else you will be absolutely anxious and nervous in every single trade I take. You just will, because you just won't have the confidence I have. So again, going into today, I would say bearish to neutral stance. I'm not bullish. I don't care if we get moves that go higher just to get sold into. That's not bullish. That's just basically sell every single pop or fade the highs. What was I going to say about the A bull trap, yeah, basically just a bull trap, like a higher time frame bull trap. If we look on the 4-hour time frame, this isn't an uptrend, right? This is by definition a downtrend. So we need to try to stay on the higher time frames and not get caught up too much in what the lower time frame is doing, just based on the fact that, again, dailies are still bearish, and they will be bearish until, you know, until they change. So all I would suggest is try your hardest, in my opinion. All I'll be doing is pretty much trying to short most of the pops, and if we do get better confirmation, i.e. downtrend gets confirmed with the true trend, which we're below true trend now, it's just not forming, but if this forms over the next 10 minutes, which it may do, give it time, then this potentially does form the downtrend going into the open. I'm just very conscious of the fact that we're right next to that weekly ATR. And you have to remember how wild that is. I still haven't coded the stats on that, but we traded the weekly low. This is not the weekly low like a traditional weekly low. This is our indicator that is predicting, using the previous data, the previous range. It predicted that low at the start of the week. We traded that pretty much, give or take, you know, within what, 50 points? And that so far has gone all the way to 820 points. So those levels are really important. We know they're important. Best believe, you know, I know they're important. But also, I know once they get pierced, there is a likelihood that we actually do, on average, go around 200 to 400 points below those levels, which would mean if daily's bearish, if we're in a downtrend, if we're in extensions, therefore, we'd potentially have room to come all the way back down. And that's just looking at it from a, you know, stats point of view. That's just, it is what it is, right? And are we going to get occasions where we just tap the weekly low by 50 points and rally 1,000 points? Maybe, but until I can program that to fully know if that's likely or not, I would say no, it's not likely. So remember, every look at this move. Look at this move yesterday. Look at this move. No true trend to the upside, and then just completely true trend down. Very, very funny. So don't be surprised if we just get something very similar to that. This is not as aggressive, but the moves are getting less aggressive, which again, losing steam in my opinion. So there was something else I was about to say, which I can't remember. If there's any questions, let me know. But yeah, you know my stance. Unfortunately, it isn't going to change just yet. If you struggle trading the short side, just maybe sit on hands until something really clear appears. But in my opinion, this is not a long. You've just had a 3 times ATR print, which has basically created this true trend. But before that, you were true trend down. So I'm skeptical. Again, if I wasn't in a position right now, I would just wait for this to confirm. Ideally goes red like this, and then much easier to trade those extensions. And for those asking, the short I took on the overnight was basically this here. So you'll see. I initially took the short here at the 50 inside the true trend, and I'll tell you why I took that there in a second. In terms of a higher time frame, it did come up to the 62 and close above, but never took out the high. So I stayed in the trade because it was like 20-point risk. I'm not going to just risk 20 points. So I was risking probably 70 to 100 points going for, which we traded, the full negative 100. So I managed to get. I was short at 80, so my actual entry was like the 61 here. I was pretty much short bang on 80s, which is pretty wild. Drawdown was 25 points, and we came all the way down for 125. I did get some off down at 29s, like this account here. This account here, I did get some off at 29s, which was really low. So that's pretty good. I've hit profit target on those. So just for transparency, I've hit profit target on Funded Next. I've hit profit target on Lucid. I've hit profit target on. I've passed these take profit accounts, so I can't do anything with them. So I am a little bit limited in terms of the accounts I've got, but I have still got 6 accounts I can trade. And those profit targets came from the overnight shorts. The accounts I'm still short on, my funded futures, alpha trades, the stream account, Funded Next, and also Apex. Okay, so I put my money where my mouth is. I'm not just randomly shorting. I do know what I'm doing. But I understand it can be quite nerve-wracking sometimes trying to short these prices, but hey, this is the market we're in, and it's not for everyone, right? It's not for everyone. So, yeah, I'll end it here. We'll go live on Whoop, and we'll see what we get on the open. I'm hoping we just completely sell off and we come down to the 4-hour low. We are above at the moment the overnight dynamic trend line. So I ideally want to see these get traded and break below. We are also very extended from yesterday's high as well. So it's not the best, it's not the best textbook short by any means. It's probably like a C trade. I think I've probably taken 1 or 2 B/A trades this week, and as I always say, right, you're probably very lucky to get an A+ trade maybe twice a month, maybe like twice a month. And I class an A+ trade as basically everything is in line. I don't base it on the fact of how many points we trade, because you can take a shitty trade and still get 120, 130 points. But you can get an A+ trade and still get only 100 points, but you had like everything in your favor. So for me, that is how I kind of categorize them, and that's with the indicators that we've installed with Sam's help. And you can see here I'm still short on my on the stream account as well. 195s. My ATMs are set at 155s and 95s, but I will adjust those when we go over to Whoop. If you're watching this on YouTube, get yourself into the trading room. You can click the link below. It will be the best decision you ever make. I'm sure of it. And other than that, guys, I will see you on tomorrow's stream, and it is Friday tomorrow. So yeah. Peace out, guys. I'll jump over to Whoop and we'll go live. Any questions, just ask them in the trading room or on the live chat, and I'll go through them.